Welcome back to Economic Sutra. You know, every great podcast needs a fantastic team behind the scenes, and for us, that's Audiocast Lab India.
They really are incredible.
They are. And for anyone joining us for the first time, this is episode 5.
Episode 5 already.
Can you believe it? And today, we're traveling back in time
Oh, very exciting.
to ancient India. Now, when you hear ancient India and markets, you might be thinking,
Bartering.
right?
Yeah.
Simple bartering, maybe a few merchants haggling over spices.
Yeah, it sounds kind of quaint.
But get ready for a surprise, because ancient India was home to a complex and sophisticated economic system.
It really was, and their markets were bustling hubs of activity.
So let's dive into that. When we picture these ancient Indian markets, what are we actually seeing?
Picture bustling trade centers not just in big cities, but all over the country.
So widespread then.
Widespread and connected. We're talking about a network that stretched across India and even went international.
Wait a minute. International trade routes? Thousands of years ago.
Thousands of years ago, they were trading spices, textiles, precious metals all across land and sea.
Wow. That's incredible. So they were connected all the way to...
All the way to Southeast Asia and even the Mediterranean.
So this wasn't just a local affair at all.
Not at all. This was a truly global network for the time.
But with all this trading going on, how did they keep things fair? Was it just a free-for-all?
Not even close. Ancient India had a strong emphasis on ethical trade.
So fairness was built into the system.
Exactly. They believed that merchants should prosper, but not by taking advantage of others.
It sounds like they understood that a healthy economy benefits everyone.
Right, and one of the key figures in this thinking was Kautilya.
Kautilya.
A brilliant strategist and advisor. He wrote a book called the Arthashastra.
Hold on, a whole book dedicated to economics way back then. What was in this Arthashastra?
Think of it as a guidebook for creating a fair and efficient economy. It covers everything from price regulation to trade practices to managing the workforce.
Wow. So they had rules and regulations in place to govern the market.
Absolutely. They had guidelines for fair pricing to make sure prices reflected the true value of goods.
That makes a lot of sense, especially today when we talk about things like price gouging.
It's a timeless issue, and they had solutions for it back then. They even standardized weights and measures to prevent cheating.
Smart move, because you wouldn't want to pay for a meter of silk and only get half.
Exactly. And they had measures in place to prevent hoarding, too, cracking down on anyone trying to stockpile goods to drive up prices.
So it sounds like they were really thinking ahead, anticipating potential problems and putting safeguards in place.
They were very forward-thinking, and they understood that a healthy market needs clear rules and regulations.
But rules are only as good as their enforcement. So how did they make sure everyone was following the guidelines?
They had market inspectors who acted like watchdogs, patrolling the markets and ensuring that everyone was playing by the rules.
So basically like ancient economic regulators.
Exactly. They took fairness and order in the marketplace very seriously.
It's fascinating to think that thousands of years ago they had dedicated officials for this.
It shows how much importance they placed on a well-functioning and ethical economic system.
So they were balancing thriving markets with consumer protection. It sounds like a delicate balancing act.
It is a delicate balance and one that we're still striving for today.
This is reminding me of so many modern economic challenges and how we're still grappling with some of the same issues.
It really does highlight the timelessness of these economic principles.
And speaking of timelessness, there's another thing that strikes me about ancient India's economic philosophy. Their focus on efficiency wasn't just about making money.
You're absolutely right. They were very aware of the bigger picture.
It was about benefiting society as a whole.
Exactly. They believed that economic growth should serve the greater good.
It's a powerful idea, especially in today's world where sometimes profit seems to come before people.
They understood that a thriving economy needs to be ethical and sustainable.
And that's an idea that resonates deeply even today.
It's a reminder that economic progress should uplift everyone in society, not just a select few.
So far, this deep dive into ancient Indian economics has been so fascinating, and it's really making me reconsider some of our modern economic practices.
Me too. It's incredible how relevant these ancient ideas still are.
What's standing out to you the most so far?
I think it's the realization that a thriving economy is about more than just numbers. It's about people, fairness, ethical practices, and making sure that everyone benefits from economic growth.
That's beautifully put and really captures the essence of what we've been discussing.
It's about creating a system that works for everyone, not just a privileged few.
And for those of you listening who are as intrigued by this topic as we are, We've put together a list of books that delve even deeper into this world.
These books offer a fascinating glimpse into the history of economic thought and offer valuable insights that we can apply even today.
You'll find the links to these books in the episode description, and they're available on both Amazon and Flipkart, so you can easily grab a copy and continue exploring this rich and thought-provoking subject.
It's a journey worth taking, trust me.
So we've explored the bustling marketplaces, the sophisticated regulations, and the ethical considerations that shaped ancient India's economic landscape.
And what's really fascinating is that they didn't stop at just regulating the markets. They went a step further.
Oh, how so?
They actually encouraged innovation and growth.
Really? I wouldn't have expected that from an ancient economic system.
Well, it's true. The Arthashastra actually encouraged merchants to diversify their offerings, to explore new markets, even to come up with new products.
So they were promoting a kind of ancient entrepreneurship.
Exactly. They understood that a dynamic economy needs a bit of healthy competition and innovation.
So it wasn't just about preserving the status quo.
No, they were very forward-thinking in that sense, and they also understood the importance of a balanced workforce.
In what way?
They had wage regulations in place, not to stifle businesses, but to find that sweet spot between a fair pay for workers and encouraging productivity.
It sounds like they were trying to strike a balance between the needs of businesses and the well-being of the workers.
Precisely. And it's a challenge we're still facing today, how to ensure fair wages while promoting economic growth.
Absolutely. It's a topic that's constantly being debated.
And speaking of modern-day parallels, they also had a system of import and export monitoring.
Interesting. So they were thinking about global trade flows even back then.
Yes, they recognized the importance of maintaining a healthy balance of trade, an idea that's incredibly relevant in today's globalized world.
It's amazing how these ancient ideas still resonate with our modern economic challenges.
It really shows that some economic principles are timeless.
So we've uncovered this incredibly sophisticated economic system in ancient India with its emphasis on fairness, ethics, and long-term prosperity. It's really quite impressive.
It is, and it challenges our assumptions about what ancient economies were like.
Absolutely. But here's the big question. Can we, in our modern world, with all our complexities, actually learn something from these ancient practices?
I think we absolutely can. There are timeless lessons here that we can apply to our own economic challenges.
I'm all ears. What wisdom can we glean from the markets of ancient India?
Well, first and foremost, it's a reminder that trust is fundamental to a healthy economy.
Trust.
Yes, whether it's a physical marketplace thousands of years ago or an online platform today, people need to know that the system is fair, that they're not being exploited, and that they can rely on the rules being enforced.
That makes a lot of sense. If people don't trust the system, they're less likely to participate.
Exactly. And that leads to the second takeaway. Fair pricing policies are crucial.
So not just trust, but fairness as well.
Yes, we need to make sure that consumers are protected, that prices reflect true value, and that the system is designed to prevent unfair advantages.
It's about creating a level playing field where everyone has a fair chance.
Precisely. And finally, the ancient Indian model reminds us of the importance of balance.
Balance? In what way?
Balance between regulation and flexibility. We need rules and oversight to protect consumers and ensure fairness, but we also need to allow room for innovation and growth.
Sounds like a delicate balancing act.
It is a delicate dance, but a necessary one.
So finding that sweet spot between regulation and freedom is a key takeaway from ancient India's economic model.
Exactly. And perhaps most importantly, we need to remember that economic policies should always be grounded in ethical conduct and a commitment to social well-being.
That's a powerful message, and one that I think we often lose sight of in our modern pursuit of economic growth.
It's a reminder that true prosperity encompasses more than just financial gain.
Well said. This deep dive into ancient India's economic wisdom has been truly eye-opening.
It's been a fascinating journey back in time.
And for those of you who are eager to delve deeper into this world, we've curated a list of books that explore ancient Indian economics in even greater detail.
These books offer a wealth of knowledge and insights that can enrich our understanding of economics, both past and present.
You can find links to these books in the episode description, and they're available on both Amazon and Flipkart, so you can easily grab a copy and continue your exploration.
I highly recommend checking them out.
Now, before we move on to our next topic, let's take a moment to acknowledge the incredible team that makes this podcast possible.
Oh, absolutely. They're the ones who make us sound so good.
You're talking about the amazing folks at Audiocast Lab India.
The best in the business.
They are the sound architects, the story weavers, the magic makers behind the scenes, if you've ever dreamed of starting your own podcast. Audiocast Lab India is the team to make it happen.
They can guide you through every step of the process, from concept to creation.
You'll find a link to their website in the episode description, so be sure to check them out. And on that note, we're about to wrap up this episode on ancient Indian markets and prices. But before we do get ready for our next episode, where we'll be uncovering the world of labor and guilds.
Oh, that's a fascinating topic.
We'll delve into how ancient India organized its workforce and the role of specialized guilds in shaping the economy. It's going to be another journey through history.
I'm looking forward to it.
But for now, as we wrap up this exploration of ancient India's economic wisdom, I'm left with a feeling of awe. Yeah, it's like we've uncovered this treasure trove of insights that are just as relevant today as they were thousands of years ago.
You're right. It's a reminder that the quest for a just and prosperous society isn't new. It's a timeless journey.
Absolutely, and we can draw inspiration and guidance from those who have walked this path before us.
It's humbling to think about the depth of knowledge and wisdom that existed in ancient India.
And speaking of wisdom, we have to give a huge shout out to the incredible team at Audiocast Lab India for bringing this episode to life.
They're the best.
They are the sound architects, the story weavers, the magic makers behind the scenes. If you have a podcast brewing in your mind, they are the ones to make it happen.
I second.
You can find the link to their website in the episode description. Go ahead, check them out, and start creating your own audio masterpiece. And to our wonderful listeners, thank you for joining us on this exploration of ancient Indian economics. We hope you've enjoyed the journey as much as we have.
It's been a pleasure.
And don't forget to check out our curated list of books in the episode description. They're available on both Amazon and Flipkart, so you can easily grab a copy and continue your own exploration. And as we wrap up this episode, let me leave you with this thought. In a world that often feels chaotic and uncertain, it's comforting to know that some of the most fundamental questions about how we create a fair and thriving society have been pondered for centuries. The wisdom of the past can light our way forward, and the journey of discovery never truly ends. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and remember, the echoes of ancient wisdom can guide us towards a brighter future.